Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now January 6th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, and others out there that's really bringing Star Wars in a different direction. This is Mike Zeroh. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I really need to talk about is everything related to the High Republic era of the franchise. This is something that a lot of fans have been talking about for the past couple of days now. A lot of fans on one end are very happy with the way things are going for the High Republic. On the other end, not looking too bright. You know, a lot of fans, including myself, and I really do have to be very honest with you guys, not completely impressed. There are aspects and there are, tidbits of the High Republic that I believe are very strong for the Star Wars franchise overall, and I'll get into that in just a second. But this is something that I really just need to get off my chest about the High Republic era and my overall feelings about this new timeline that takes place a total of 200 years before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, in case you guys are indeed out of the loop, the High Republic era will also be explored in the upcoming TV show by Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy, unfortunately. Of course, just at the very end of the High Republic era is where the Acolyte takes place, pretty much giving us the story of emerging dark side powers and the mystery of the dark side overall. Now, you guys may very well be confused as to exactly where the High Republic is going. So, the High Republic overall, I gotta say, I'm not completely impressed with the way things are going with the character designs, with the overall structure of what they're aiming for. There are aspects, like I said, I'm gonna get into that in just a second, that I actually do and am very excited about. However, let's get right into it. Now, one of the great works in the High Republic era, in my book, is Starlight Station. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, if you guys have invested any kind of time researching about the High Republic, but Starlight Station, in case you guys did not know, is a hyperspace beacon to actually help navigate in the turbulent and treacherous Outer Rim territories. So this is a big deal. This is going to essentially help the Jedi to really use this as an aid to find their way through the Outer Rim. Now, the High Republic is going to dive more into the Outer Rim territories. This is going to be a very interesting, location in the galaxy that the High Republic will actually get into. Now, here's the thing about the one side of the High Republic that I think is just very, very poor, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. Everybody out there has their own opinion, but I just have to actually let others know exactly what I believe or how I feel about the High Republic era. Now, we have three different phases. Light of the Jedi, okay, we have Quest of the Jedi, and we've got the Trials of the Jedi. It's all going to be divided up into three different phases. Going well into 2026, mind you. We have Phase 1 leading into 2022. And Phase 2 leading into 2024, which is planned, and Phase 3 into 2026. So this is very similar to what Lucasfilm did back then with Star Wars Legends, and how we have the High Republic as one of the new timelines. Again, I am more excited about the other timelines that are indeed being created for Star Wars well over the High Republic era. We have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's universe. That's their own timeline, as I like to call it, the Favloni universe, which is all based in between episodes 6 and 7. We got another timeline in the works that takes place well after the events of episode 9. The Old Republic, in case you guys did not know, is also in the early development phase. That's also going to be a big deal in the future of Star Wars. So I just feel that the High Republic feels like an Old Republic light, if that makes a lot of sense. A light version of the Old Republic era. Basically, what the High Republic is, it's the residual projects that Kathleen Kennedy left behind before she lost her creative power. There was so much work done to the point where Kathleen Kennedy lost her creative control over the overall franchise, to the point where they really couldn't just turn everything around. Now, of course, regulations are being put into place, thankfully, for the last two phases, Trials of the Jedi and, of course, Quest of the Jedi. However, when it comes to Light of the Jedi, that's pretty much set in permanently. The other two phases, thankfully George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are going to be doing a lot of modifications to, those two different phases. So Quest of the Jedi and Trials of the Jedi, I believe, are going to be a massive improvement than Phase 1, which is Light of the Jedi. So I also want to tap into the overall structure here of what Seglain had to say, where he states, it's very surreal. We've been working on this for years, literally. We've been pitching it forever. The writers have really gone above and beyond the call of duty here, and it's unbelievably to finally have it almost out in the world. The stuff we're dealing with today, the fact that people are starting to get physical copies now, the fact that 3 weeks from tomorrow, the first books hit. It's truly unbelievable. He says, it's like Christmas. You're so excited for it, but at the time, you almost don't want to actually get it there because it's going to be over. Now, he states it's going to be bold, it's going to be epic, it's going to be all these different crazy things. Now, the High Republic era, alright, in case you guys did not know, the first phase, it's going to focus on a time of peace with the Nile. Alright, it's going to eventually transition into a struggle with the Nile. What are the Nile? Alright, this is something that I think is honestly not well fit for Star Wars, and that's just my opinion. I just feel that the Nile, being these very, power-hungry, almost like warmongers, in the overall new Star Wars timeline that's being developed right now in the High Republic, they're able to use hyperspace to their own advantage to pop up anywhere at any time. And that's what makes them so scary to the Jedi during the High Republic era. Again, I just feel that the overall tone of how this is going to be a pretty much, for this scenario, for Phase 1 and a partial amount of Phase 2, there's going to be little to no wars at all. In fact, the High Republic is focused on having no wars at all whatsoever. And you look at the title, Star Wars, and you're kind of stripping away the concept of wars. To me, it just doesn't make sense. And this is where Kathleen Kennedy's residual projects fall into place. A lot of this was done when Kathleen Kennedy still had creative power. Right when she left, the creators over at Lucasfilm were left with all of this. So thankfully, Phase 2 and Phase 3, Trials and Quest, are going to be more regulated by George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni. Let's not forget that there was a point in time in which they were developing High Republic TV shows in animated form that were, thankfully, completely cancelled because of the regulations that were being put in place. So that's a good thing. Now, honestly, this is no match for the Old Republic era, in my opinion. I feel that the Old Republic, which is coming still, by the way, it is going to be a big deal in 2022 and 23. We're going to be getting a lot more books and comics and novels about that. We're going to get more information about that later this year in 2021. But the High Republic, guys, I really have to be honest with you, and I think that it just feels like the Old Republic light version. It does not necessarily connect with me as a fan when it comes to the overall structure of Star Wars. I don't really feel much emotion just looking at the book covers or looking at the overall premise of some of the stories that are being put out right now. But overall, everybody has their own opinion. Everybody likes what they like, I guess, right? So that's just how I feel about the overall new timeline of Star Wars, which, by the way, it's going to be around for a while. 6 years, minimum. Literally. You got each phase lasting roughly 2 years. And it's going to be around for a very, very long time. In fact, The Acolyte is technically a High Republic TV show by Leslie Headland, which I've stated this before in the past. I really do believe that that is going to be a Batwoman 2.0 scenario. So overall, guys, I really have to say I'm not all that impressed with the High Republic. Let me just recap. The thing that I really do love the most coming out of the High Republic era is that, yes, we're going to be getting Yoda back. Yoda is coming back into the overall story. We're going to see Yoda in or around 700, 750, maybe 800 years old, give or take, right around that range. A little bit younger, a little bit more in his youth. Maybe more around the lines of a little over middle-aged. And that's going to be a very interesting touch on Yoda. The fact that we're going to see this different version of him. And we've heard about before in the past of how they've been trying to somehow insert Yoda into the Acolyte TV series by Leslie. So I think that Yoda will be the one thing that really kind of, at the very minimum, and hopefully, kind of gives the Acolyte a little bit of a foundation to survive, but I just don't feel it for the Acolyte so far from what we've all been hearing. So, I mean, let's look back at Star Wars Legends. When we go ahead and examine the Old Republic era, alright, well into the early 2000s, this is when the video games are coming out, and the books, the comics, the novels. I mean, a lot of fans just loved everything related to that. You know, Darth Revan and Darth Sion and all these different characters that really became very popular. It just seems like, to me, the best way to really put it here, the High Republic is a very soft version of Star Wars, whereas the Old Republic is more dark and gritty and is not playing it safe, and it's dealing with the Sith, the Jedi. Where in the High Republic era, it just seems like we're getting shortchanged. That's how I feel. And that's just what I want to actually, express to you guys, is exactly how I feel about the High Republic. Just to let it be known. Because obviously a lot of fans out there are not impressed, especially with the character designs, especially with the overall story of what Lucasfilm is aiming for. But like I said, it seems like it's going to be a half and half scenario. Thankfully, the last two phases will be regulated to an extent by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George. However, the first phase, which is going to last well into 2022, to me, it's not looking so good so far. I know I can't judge everything right away, but the books and the comics, to me, not impressing myself. And I'm not really all that impressed by it. So, the Old Republic, obviously, more received than the High Republic already, and I think that a lot of fans are just waiting for that, which is going to eventually become a big thing, like the High Republic. They want to explore new timelines besides this one. Like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.